Welcome to Bloomington Today. I'm Kaylin Cockrell. Thanks for joining us. Recently, we've checked canoeing at Bush Lake, disc golfing at Highland Ski and Snowboard area, and snorkeling at Sea Life, Minnesota off our to-do list. And on this week's DoTown segment, we'll check off an activity growing in popularity that you can do right at Bloomington Civic Plaza. Nicole Spooner has been dancing her entire life. She's been involved with the Twin Cities Continental Ballet Company for more than 2 decades, even dancing professionally with them for a period of time. And while her days as a ballerina are behind her, she hasn't hung up her slippers. In fact, Spooner transitioned from yoga instructor to bar fitness trainer.
It will incorporate a bit of yoga, a little bit of Pilates, and some bar work. So we're taking in the dance and making it a good fitness workout for everyone who would like to try it.
Bar fitness is designed for anyone ages 15 to 69 and will benefit clients of every fitness level. The bar fitness class offered at Civic Plaza is geared towards adults looking for a fun and creative workout different than the norm. First, we'll start with a short warm-up which focuses on postural strength and alignment. Bar fitness routines are typically done barefoot, and like any exercise, the warm-up is a big part of the entire class. So Nicole, let's walk through a warm-up.
All right, what we're going to start with is not on the bar, and it's a yoga warm-up. So if you are familiar with moonflowers, that is what we're going to do. So we're going to step out, feet hip-width apart, maybe a little wider, and then rotating from your inner thighs. We're going to bend your knees, bringing them over your ankles. You want to make sure that your knees aren't rolling in. We don't want to damage your knees. So keep it up, squatting, then we're going to lift our arms. Inhale as you reach up, exhale, pressing down, bringing your elbows down towards each other. Inhale and exhale.
After a series of moonflower poses, we move over to the bar to warm up our backs. This is done through a series of cat and cow poses. Cat arches the back upwards, cow pulls the back in. We spend much of the warm-up on our ankles, as much of the dance background focuses on strengthening those muscles.
At the bar, toes turned in at first. We're going to lift up our feet and rotate it out as far as you can using your inner thigh. You want to make sure that you aren't twisting from your knee. So we're going to stretch our right foot forward, leading with your heel, and we're going to rotate your ankle, making nice small circles. And then reverse.
A typical bar fitness class lasts 1 hour, with half the class time spent using the ballet bar and the other half on the mat. Now Nicole teaches me some beginner ballet poses.
Start with your hands on the bar, feet in parallel. We're going to lift up our toes and turn them out to the side, rotating from your thigh. Again, you want to check in with your posture. Make sure that your belly button is lifting back towards your spine and your tailbone is dropping down. A lot of times if you have tight hips, if you're a runner, you're going to tend to let that go. You want to pull that under. That's important in bar fitness and creating that strength.
Okay.
So for the plie, we're going to bend our knees right over your toes. So you're keeping that like a diamond and then squeeze it back up.
Okay.
So you're using your own body, creating this resistance in the bend and squeeze up.
After just minutes, my muscles are already feeling these moves and poses. Spooner says bar fitness is best described as a low-impact, high-intensity workout.
Just about anyone can benefit from this. It's going to be very accommodating to the people who take the class. If there's a pose they can't do or a move they can't do, they can just modify it to a position that feels comfortable, and as they build up their strength and abilities, they'll be able to do more and more. It's more low impact, staying at the bar, not a lot of jumping like in plyometrics, really focusing on strengthening the legs, working on the core, toning, elongating, lengthening.
Well, for the next part of the workout, we'll take it to the floor. Nicole, what's next?
Well, if you've taken yoga before, you might be familiar with plank pose.
Yes. The plank pose is considered a whole core workout. The move is great for building strength and endurance in both the back and abs. And not to fear, there are alternative positions to accommodate all fitness levels. Spooner says the great thing about her bar fitness class is while it's rather new to the Twin Cities, you don't have to travel downtown or join an expensive studio. Classes are offered right in-house at Civic Plaza.
Bloomington is so fortunate to have this whole center. It's gorgeous, there's shows here all the time, and it's just a great place. Bar fitness is a great way to stay in shape. It will help elongate your muscles, lengthen, tone, keep a trim physique, and it's a fun way to change up your workout routine, doing something a little different, and you'll definitely feel it the next day.
I know I'm going to feel it tomorrow, and it really was a great workout. I can check bar fitness at Civic Plaza off my to-do list. Classes are going on right now. To find out when the next session begins, visit continentalballet.com or call 952-563-8562. Well, maybe you're not looking for a new workout like bar fitness, but rather looking to perfect your golf swing. Bloomington's 2 golf courses have been open to the public for a few weeks now, and many golfers have taken advantage of the unseasonably warm temperatures and hit the greens already this season. And for golfers visiting Highland Greens, you'll likely notice the highly anticipated practice range relocation. The plan has relocated the range from its current spot along Normandale Boulevard to the middle of the course, thus eliminating the inside 9. In its former location, there were just 12 hitting stations. In its new home, there's room for 36 golfers to brush up on their skills. And where there was artificial turf, golfers can now find real grass beneath their feet. The small shed that's being constructed will consist of a ball dispenser and some vending machines. Highland Green's new practice range opened to the public on Saturday, June 9th, with Mayor Winstead taking the first shot off of the new range. Highland Green's golf course is open daily from 6 a.m. until dark. A round on the outside 9 is just $14, and reservations are accepted up to 7 days in advance. On June 9th, the Bloomington Family Aquatic Center invited residents back for another summer of fun in the sun. Visitors stopping by the Bloomington Family Aquatic Center, located at 301 East 90th Street, will experience some exciting new changes at the facility, including a fully renovated bathhouse and 2 new slides.
The slide that we had previously, well, it had reached its useful life. It was installed back when the facility was renovated, I'm guessing around 1993-94. We typically get about 15 to 20 years of lifespan out of a fiberglass water slide, so we were into year 18, so it was definitely time for it to be replaced.
The slides arrived at the Aquatic Center in dozens of separate parts, and after about a week, they were all assembled into the towering structure you see here. But before pool goers were invited to ride the slide, Qualley says a state inspector had to come by and check it for safety.
Any slide that is installed has to be certified by an engineering firm, which is reviewed and approved. Even before we put a spade in the ground, the state health inspector will take a look at the plans to verify it meets all appropriate codes. Then through construction, and by the time we get it up and ready and operational, they'll come back out to make sure, did we install it according to the plan? They'll even get in their swimsuit and they'll take a couple rides down the slide to make sure that it is compliant and that it is a safe and enjoyable ride for our patrons.
And as Qualley said, the inspector actually heads down the slide, checking for obstructions, smooth surfaces, and overall safety. We weren't on site for the actual inspection, but to give viewers an idea of the exciting twists and turns of the new slides, we sent a lifeguard down. Take a look.
We're excited to have this new facility. You know, it is still a double slide, similar to what we had before, but it's a whole different experience. And chatting with some of the people who have been using it, some of our lifeguard staff through training, and actually the rental we're having today, they are thrilled by the ride. And especially when you take a look at the different experience of having an enclosed tube slide, you're going from a bright, sunny, 85-degree day, and all of a sudden you're in darkness. And you're hitting corners, you don't know where you're going, and all of a sudden, boom, you're back out and you're into the pool. It's a really thrilling experience.
The Bloomington Family Aquatic Center is a great place to beat the heat this summer. There's literally something for everyone in the family as well. There's a zero-depth entry pool, interactive play features, a top slide, lap lanes, and more. Not to mention the new bathhouse with a central corridor, family changing room, and wave theme. It's sure to be a hit for patrons stopping by this summer. Opening weekend at the Bloomington Family Aquatic Center brought in more than 2,000 guests, so that was definitely a great weekend. One note, children must be at least 48 inches tall to ride the slides. To get more details on the facility, find out about group reservations and tips on healthy swimming, visit the city's website and keyword search BFAC. The Mississippi River is a defining geographic feature of North America. It's a source of drinking water for millions, home to eagles, waterfowl, and other animals. And because of those reasons and more, it deserves protection, along with all the rivers in the state. Friends of the Mississippi River is a Twin Cities-based nonprofit organization that works locally to get residents excited about the river in our city's backyard. And one way they do this is through an annual event that reaches out to all paddlers of all ages, called the Mississippi River Challenge.
The Mississippi River Challenge is a fundraising event too. All proceeds from the event go to support river conservation, water quality, protecting these great rivers in Minnesota.
This year's event is a 2-day, 39-mile trip on July 28th and 29th. Clark says participants ranging in age from 3 to 82 with all different types of skills have paddled in past challenges. And this year, paddlers will take a new river route from years past, beginning in Bloomington.
We're putting in here at Bloomington Ferry Bridge, and we're going to paddle the first day down to Fort Snelling, which is right at the confluence of the Minnesota and Mississippi rivers. It's a beautiful spot. We'll overnight inside historic Fort Snelling, so we'll have a big party and celebration inside the fort. There's live music and great food and a great time. And then on Sunday, we put in again at the confluence there at Fort Snelling, and we paddle down through downtown St. Paul, and we take out at Great Cloud Island on the Mississippi River.
And if you aren't able to spend the full 2 days on the water, also new this year, the challenge is offering 3 route options: a half day, a 1 day, or the full 2-day paddle. And while the mileage and time spent on the water can vary with each route option, any time on the rivers has several beautiful similarities. Just ask river guide and professional paddler Chad Dayton. He took the challenge for the first time last year with his 3-year-old daughter, and when asked his favorite part, that answer was easy.
The new perspective on the Metro, being able to paddle under the bridges and seeing those bridges from a new perspective, and getting a feel for the real proximity of the natural areas that are the river corridors, and to really be able to see that firsthand really changed my perspective on both the cities a great deal.
All proceeds of the Mississippi River Challenge go directly to water conservation efforts by Friends of the Mississippi, a group that considers themselves to be the voice of our state's rivers.
There's a number of ways that people can get involved with this event. Obviously, if you're a paddler or if you'd like to be a paddler, come on out and join us that way. If you aren't sure that paddling is right for you, but you'd like to be part of the event, it takes about 150 to 200 volunteers to pull this whole weekend off. And so you can volunteer and you can actually be part of the event that way. And the other way is, of course, you can support a paddler. You can go online to our website, www.mississippiriverchallenge.org, and make a contribution to support the paddle of one of the people who are paddling.
One other cool component to the Mississippi River Challenge is it's a fully supported event, meaning there's a shuttle that brings people to the launch site, meals are provided, and safety support is on hand. Paddlers 18 and older are asked to raise $200, ages 16 to 18, just $50, and under 15, there's no pledge minimum. For more information on this awesome cause, visit MississippiRiverChallenge.org. And it's now time for a short break. When we come back, we'll be joined by a city environmental health specialist to discuss standards for proper residential lawn maintenance. Stay right here.
I knew it wasn't going to be easy. Some things take a while to come back.
3, 2, zip in, zip!
But I've got some good buddies. I guess they're helping me figure it out. Being used to doing something with a cigarette makes it hard to do it without one. But if I can relearn to hang out with my friends without cigarettes, then I can relearn anything without cigarettes.
Relearn life without cigarettes. Free at becomeanx.org. A new way to think about quitting.
Lead paint poisoning affects over 1 million children today. Dust from lead-based paint could cause violent behavior. If your home was built before 1978, log on to leadfreekids.org.
Welcome back, everyone. We are now pleased to be joined by Lorena Lair. Lorena is an environmental health specialist with the city. Welcome to the show, Lorena. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Well, city environmental health staff conduct mowing sweeps throughout the warmer months every year. Why don't you tell us what a mowing sweep really is?
Sure. So every spring, usually around early May, our city environmental health staff attempt to visit every residential and commercial property and see if it's being maintained, if it's been mowed, and just to kind of keep up ahead of complaints so neighbors don't feel like they have to call in and make a complaint to the city.
Okay. What does the city consider to be a violation of its weed and brush ordinance?
Well, in Section 10 of our city code, if weeds and grass exceed 1 foot in length or are seeding or about to go to seed, that's considered a violation of the ordinance. So if we see those conditions, we will send a letter and give 10 days to comply.
Okay. What does seeding or about to go to seed mean?
So if the grass is starting to have the seeds present towards the top and about to spread. Yep.
Oh,
so if dandelions are exceeding that length.
Okay,
yeah,
I see. So far this year, you know, the city's really been on top of that. More than 300 mowing orders for tall weeds and grass have been issued. What kinds of penalties are we looking for if homeowners who receive these notices don't comply within those 10 days?
Sure, so if we give them 10 days to comply, and if we follow up and see that it hasn't been mowed, we do have a city contractor that will come and mow those properties. So it's not meant as a penalty if a resident gets a notice, it's more as a reminder that they have to maintain their yard.
And as you and I had talked about, you know, a lot of, you know, early May, people started going out conducting these mowing sweeps. A lot of it is, you know, maybe the lawnmower isn't gassed up yet or something.
Right.
So
the number we've had to actually have our contractor mow is way lower than the notices we send out. A lot of it's people haven't got to it yet.
Okay. So when the contractor does go out and mow, that isn't just a, hey, you can avoid cutting your grass and get a free lawn mowing. Talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So if we do have our city contractor come out and mow, first we will try and make contact with the owner first before having them come out. And then if we do have to mow, then the bill is sent to whoever's listed on the Hennepin County website as the owner. And if that bill's not paid, then it will be assessed to the property.
Okay. Well, and that leads me into the next question. If a foreclosed or abandoned property is without lawn care, which some of the video we'll be showing here was actually from a sweep last year. It was a foreclosed home, and contractors were out cutting that grass. The city has a solution for that, and that's these contractors What happens in that case?
Sure, so we monitor any vacant, abandoned, foreclosed homes that we know of, and after 10 days we give them the same amount of time to comply, and then if our contractor does mow it, if they had to mow it once, then we continue to monitor as a courtesy to the neighbors, and throughout the summer months we'll be checking up on those vacant homes to make sure they're being maintained.
Okay, so even a vacant home has a name attached to it somewhere.
Usually a bank, or sometimes it's a previous owner that still is listed.
Okay. Well, you know, one of the real questions is who benefits from these sweeps? You know, some people may ask, why does the city go through the trouble? But really, there are some very big benefits to maintaining properties.
The reason we have our staff proactively looking just in the early spring is to stay ahead of those complaints again, and just to maintain property values throughout the city by having those lawns maintained.
Absolutely. Beautiful streets, beautiful home values, things like that all kind of go hand in hand. So where or who can residents contact if they live near a home that may have some lawn issues, or they have a vacant property that maybe the city isn't aware of yet? Where can they contact?
The best is to call our environmental health line, which is 952-563-8934. And if they call, we are able to tell them if maybe we've already issued a notice to that property. Or people can email us at envhealth@ci.bloomington.mn.us, and that's another way to send in a complaint regarding tall grass and weeds. And if people are interested in looking up the specifics of the ordinance, that's all listed on the city website under the Section 10 of the City Code.
Okay, wonderful. Well, we'd like to thank Lorena for being here with us today. It's now time for a short break. We'll be right back.
Was that my exit? There you are, ma'am, all done.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day.
Thanks again.
Everyday emergency workers, as well as maintenance crews, construction crews, and first drivers work on busy roadways. And every day they're at risk of being killed.
On multi-lane highways, please move over one lane. Our lives depend on you.
So, what's the big deal about moving firewood?
Sometimes we move things we don't want, like emerald ash borer. The beetle larvae hatch from eggs and chew through bark. They feed on the wood and cut off the tree's nutrients. They live under the bark in winter, and when they come out in the spring as winged beetles, they can fly off and eat other ash trees. Emerald ash borer might seem like a small bug, but it's a big deal to Minnesota. Don't spread emerald ash borer. Burn firewood where you buy it.
Welcome back, everyone. City animal control officers have always kept an open door policy at Bloomington's shelter, inviting residents, groups, and various organizations on shelter tours. And on April 13th, a Richfield Girl Scout troop took advantage of that free offer, but decided they wanted to do more for the shelter and the animals, calling it home during their transitional times. Troop leader Kari explains.
Made toys. We took some of our cookie money and we bought fleece, and so they made some tie blankets. We did a food and litter drive up on at Bloomington Pet Supplies Plus, and we sat out there on a Sunday for a few hours asking people, just while they're getting some cat food, dog food, or whatever, if they could grab an extra bag or something and leave it with us.
Here, Jillian, this will work for you.
And on June 4th, Kari and her troop of Girl Scouts stopped by the shelter, bearing gifts. The troop said they had fun not only collecting the items, but were equally excited to present the items to Animal Control Officer Jacob Young.
As they get older, they start taking on more ownership, and they learn what they can do. And when they're little, you can go to the park and you can clean up garbage, and that's a great community service. But as they get older, they start learning you can do a lot more, and you don't have to be a grown-up. You can make a big impact even if you're 10 or 11 years old.
This project got the girls their Bronze Award pin and hopefully left a lasting lesson in their minds and hearts. When asked what was the most memorable part,
well, we watched a video of dog safety, and we learned how to come up to a dog and not startle it or anything.
I think it's probably seeing the animals and really helping them. I think it's the whole entire thing, really.
Officer Young told us that while it's not required when on a tour, the Bloomington Animal Shelter gladly welcomes donations. Officer Young said to find out what the shelter accepts, simply give them a call at 952-563-4942. Mosquitoes, a necessary evil that comes along with the warm weather in Minnesota. And according to the Minnesota DNR, there are about 50 species of mosquitoes in Minnesota. The life of a mosquito begins in or around the water where eggs are laid. They hatch in early spring and go through larva and pupa stages before emerging as adult insects.
Mosquitoes tend to breed in standing water, and some of the structures that we have below ground to help treat our stormwater runoff, they hold water, which provide breeding grounds for mosquitoes.
Bloomington Public Works is working together with the Metropolitan Mosquito Control District to eliminate mosquito larvae in city storm sewers. Small briquettes are dropped into the storm sewers. The briquette sinks to the bottom of the sewer and slowly dissolves.
It's designed to last about 150 days, and as it dissolves, it releases a growth regulator that prevents the mosquito larvae from emerging as adult mosquitoes.
Yet another example of how Public Works strives for proactive solutions rather than reactive. Brian noted that the dose of treatment is dependent on the volume of water in each particular storm sewer. And that's all the time we have for today. To get more information on city projects, parks, road construction, and events, visit the city's website. To check out past Bloomington Today shows or other city productions, visit Bloomington's YouTube channel, accessible right from the city's homepage. That and so much more is online right now at www.ci.bloomington.mn.us. If Facebook or Twitter isn't your thing, sign up for eSubscribe to have updates sent right to your email or cell phone. This is Bloomington Today, a presentation of the City of Bloomington's Communications Division. I'm Kaylin Cockriel. Thanks so much for joining us.